Doug NPA back on another video. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on the way in. I really appreciate it. It shows that you support me and the content on this channel. So, guys, this is a disgusting case out of Florida where a woman was drunk and her significant other was drunk too, and she convinced him to get in a suitcase and zipped him into a suitcase and listened to him beg for his life. He said he couldn't breathe, and she left him in there, and he didn't make it. This happened back in 2020, and she's finally going to court. She's being charged for second degree, murder, and she's gonna use the battered whatever defense to try to justify it. But she's finally seeing her day in court. So let's watch the news story, and then I have an article that gets further into it.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Sarah Boone.
Sarah Boone stood before a judge today, accused of committing one of the most bizarre murders in recent Central Florida history, accused of zipping her boyfriend into a suitcase, then leaving him to suffocate to death.
You were arrested for second-degree murder. There is probable cause.
It happened at the apartment the two shared off Goldenrod Road in Winter Park this past weekend. Here's Sarah's side of the story, that she and her boyfriend, George Torres Jr., were putting together a puzzle while drinking Chardonnay wine, then decided to play a game of hide and seek.
And he got into a suitcase. I wonder how that conversation went, because there's no way I would ever get into. I'm 6'2". Is there a suitcase I can even fit in?
Boone told investigators Torres willingly got into the suitcase, that they were laughing when she zipped it up. But because two of George's fingers were able to stick out of the suitcase, Boone thought he could get out. So she went to bed, woke up the next morning, and found her boyfriend right where she left him, in the suitcase, dead.
So there's a video where he's in the suitcase. I'm not going to show it here because it just boils my blood. He's in the suitcase, and she's sitting on the chair with her feet up as he's begging for his life. He's saying he can't breathe. He's asking to get out, and she's just berating him. It's awful.
The video investigators got off Boone's cell phone tells another story. In the video, deputies hear Torres inside the suitcase saying, "I can't breathe." You hear Boone reply, "Yeah, that's what you do when you choke me, and that's what I feel when you cheat on me." One of the last images on the phone was video of George pushing on the suitcase in an attempt to get out. An autopsy done on Torres also showed he had injuries, bruises to his shoulder and to his head, busted lip, and long fingernail scratches down his back. In Orange County, Michelle Meredith, West 2 News.
Now in court today, the judge ordered Boone be held without bond.
So let's get into this news story here that kind of tells us a little more. It says, this is a woman who zipped boyfriend in a suitcase and filmed his terror plans battered spouse defense for murder trial. It says, a Florida woman accused of zipping her boyfriend into a suitcase, filming his cries for help, and then leaving him to pass away, is gearing up to face a trial on second-degree murder charges. The chilling story dates back to February 2020 when 42-year-old Sarah Boone called police to report that her boyfriend, George Torres Jr., had died at her home in Winter Park, north of Orlando. The school claimed that they had been drinking the previous evening and decided that it would be funny if Torres, 42, got in the suitcase while playing hide and seek, and arrest affidavit states. She allegedly admitted to having zipped Torres in the suitcase before going upstairs to bed. The next morning, she found him unresponsive, still in the bag. Miss Boone was arrested and charged after investigators found that her story didn't correspond with video evidence found on her phone, which allegedly showed Torres crying out, saying he couldn't breathe as he tried to get in the suitcase. There's actually a interrogation video where she's talking like she's just gonna get off, and the interrogator and her have quite an interesting back and forth. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it. There are some body language breakdown people and some communication breakdown people that that would break down just the pathology of this woman and how she honestly thought that she was just gonna go home. She couldn't believe that she got charged with second-degree murder. Because Miss Boone could be heard laughing in the footage, a deputy said in the affidavit. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me, she said. Miss Boone is now preparing to face a pretrial hearing this month where her defense lawyer has said that he plans on employing the battered spouse defense. Criminal defense lawyer Mark Najemi told Newsnation that the Boone defense team is set to have a tough road if they choose the battered spouse defense. How, if once again, guys, watch the video. There's no way. I mean, they can try, but video evidence, the video evidence in this case is this was so blatantly malicious. There's nothing that this guy could have done to this girl for her to do this to him. And then I was reading another story that said that she may have dropped the suitcase down the stairs, which is why he has a bloody nose and all that stuff. So he was in the suitcase, and she threw the suitcase down the stairs and may have kicked it and punched it while he was in there. So it says Florida does not recognize battered women syndrome or battered spouse syndrome. I should say it's typical the woman who's the victim in these matters, but they have to really show that this is perpetual and this is ongoing and that it escalated. Ms. Boone sent a letter to the judge in the case in January 2021, pointing to a number of concerns, including sufficient communication from the judge or her lawyer, according to Fox 35. But online records show that she didn't request a new attorney. So that's the suitcase, and they got that off her phone. And then that's what the guy looked like. The 2-minute video found on Miss Boone's phone allegedly shows the suitcase facing downward, her saying, "For everything you've done to me, F you stupid," according to Daily Mail. "I can't effing breathe," seriously, the boyfriend said, calling her name. Yeah, well, that's what you do when you, uh, me, she said. Responding to Torres saying he couldn't breathe, "That's on you, and that's what I feel like when you cheat on me. You should probably shut the F up." A second video lasting 22 seconds now shows the suitcase upwards, shows Torres calling Miss Boone's name. And then she calls 911 saying, "My boyfriend isn't here anymore." So, once again, this is just awful. Uh, the guy has kids from a previous marriage. It says Torres' obituary says he has 3 children. Miss Boone had a child from a previous marriage. So his 3 children, they don't have a father anymore. Um, her, she can't be a mom to her kids anymore. It also says Miss Boone was arrested in 2018 on a battery charge of strangulation against Torres, and he also charged with battery following an incident at the home. So 70% of spousal, altercations are mutual. So if one person, it's not just the guy hitting the woman and the man are hitting each other, and this is what it seemed like right now. But he was dumb enough to not get away from this woman and dumb enough to get in a suitcase. Guys, don't be violent with a woman and don't be with a violent woman. Okay? And be careful who you bring into your house. Walk away from volatile relationships and volatile women, and don't get caught in this perpetual cycle of emotional and physical um, uh, disarray or escalation, because you could end up in a suitcase not here anymore. Let me know what you think about this. Did you hear about this story before? Because this originally happened in 2020. She's finally getting her trial in 2023. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.